up, makeup minions? I'm Kim Witte from WitteArtistry, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, I would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button below to become part of my family. I'm going to show you a really cool illusion today. I was a little stressed, so I just wanted to paint some candles. So I made this. I hope that's okay. But let's get into the tutorial. If you like me and you like what I do here, it would mean the world to me if you became a sponsor on my Patreon page. By the way, every time I do a makeup on YouTube, I do link every single product in the description. They are affiliate codes, so I do get a % of the sale without any extra cost to you. But I am using all Mayron, wow, I just like choked on that word. I am using all Mayron products for this makeup look. A combination between their cream paint palettes and their aqua color body paints. I am laying down a cone shape of yellow followed by a hint of blue at the base and just tapering that up and creating a flame. I am adding white to that flame as well just to make it glow more, and added a wick with a yellow brown and just a hint of black at the little burn tip. My plan here is basically I just wanted my hands to be made out of candles and there was going to be flames and lots of dripping wax. That was literally the plan. I didn't draw it out ahead of time, I just kind of went with it. I also wanted to use that wonderful Mayron HD contour and highlight palette again because I loved it so much. I used it on that other tutorial with a little ribbon hand. I'll link that up in the corner if you want to check it out. But this makeup was really easy. I just had, I made basically a circle where the wick was coming out and it makes that little pool, you know, when you're looking at candles and that has that like raised waxy edge and then the dip that's full of the liquid. So I made the little oval part darker and then had some wax overflow on the edges. Anywhere that the wax is liquefied is going to be lighter than my skin tone. So I am creating those drips. I wanted to make sure there was plenty of drips and that the drips follow the contour of my hand. This adds to the dimension. So the one that's going all the way down the back of my palm and then down to my wrist, it's curving with the hand. So it's moving the direction that gravity would have taken it if it was actually dripping, which adds to the realism. Now with a darker color, I am going to be underlining all of those drips, creating a drop shadow, because the drips are three-dimensional, so they're creating a drop shadow. Over by my pinky too, I wanted that figure to be completely gone. I have sort of created a little waterfall stair step of nothingness. It's just the little pools of wax that are left over when you burn a candle for a really long time. So I've done that, and anywhere in those pools that it's close to a lip, there's going to be a drop shadow, just because, you know, it's receded. So I add the dark brown in those areas as well. Then I'm just going back and forth between a highlight and a shadow, just creating more and more dimension. There wasn't a plan with this. It's dripping wax. It just does what it does. And I wanted it to be sort of like a meditative, relaxing sort of thing. But if you're ever struggling with what to do, I highly recommend you get a candlestick and just watch it burn. Or you could look up a YouTube video or a picture on the internet to follow a reference image. On the high points of the wax, I am adding white and then blending it out a little bit. This is creating a super stark highlight because wax is, you know, waxy. So it's going to have a waxy shine to it. And I am adding some dark brown to the edges of those wax pools up by the wicks, and this really helps create that shadow and the illusion that it's sort of a bowl. Adding that color as well to the under parts of all of the roundest parts of the drips, just to really sell that the balled up part is super dimensional. Like, you know, when the wax drips, it's got that thin stream that's pretty shallow, but where the wax finally stops moving at the big ball at the end, it's pretty thick and pretty plump. That's just kind of what I was going for. Take your time with this. Just go back and forth between the highlights and the shadows. Make sure you're using a small detail brush for the entire thing. And if you're using black at any time, make sure it's very, very limited amount because black can really mess up a makeup look. So yeah, I usually just stuck with the dark brown. It's coming along. I really like it. I'm adding a couple more drips to my middle finger because I just thought it needed it. But the overall plan here is I'm going to be blacking out the fingers, having it in front of a black background so it looks like the fingers have burned down to little nubs. And also this was sort of inspired by like those really cool candles. I'm not sure if you've ever seen them, but they're like cats, owls, goats, and human hands that the wax is shaped like that animal or that body part, and then as you light it, it burns down and it has a skeleton on the inside. I was thinking about doing that, but I kind of decided to eliminate the whole bone thing because I thought it would be way more trippy if it's just emptiness. So I'm using a black body paint just to very, very carefully outline the wax hand. My original plan was to have sort of like a halo of lightness around the burning flame. As you can see, I didn't fill the black all the way up close to the flame, but it didn't really work. It just kind of looked like I didn't finish painting it. So I actually had an idea later to add some yellow eyeshadow, and that didn't work either. So I ended up just outlining the flame in black, and it just stood out so wonderfully. Taking some more of that dark brown, I'm going underneath the edges of the drip trails some more to have more contrast, because once I added the black on my fingers, I just decided it needed a little more dimension to stand up to the darkness of that other black. Now I'm adding some more highlights to the flames. I added more yellow and more white, because flames are a lot more white and intense than you think they are. Here's why I'm adding the halo of the yellow eyeshadow. It looked cool, but it didn't look great, so I ended up changing my mind and then just covering it with black body paint again. But here's a really important step. Whenever you're doing these blackout illusions, you want to very carefully take black eyeshadow and powder every single spot that's black. Because your fingers have dimension, and since they're round, they reflect light, and in order to minimize that, you can powder it with black, which just reduces the reflection, and it makes it look so much more realistic. All right, add some more white highlights into the flame as well, and then blend them in. And you are all done. I really like how this turned out. This was a blast to paint, super easy, didn't take that long, and it looks so cool. I kind of want to do another candle look, but maybe on my face, I'm not quite sure. Let me know what you think. Happy Halloween, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching and for sticking to the end. I hope you enjoyed watching me make this as much as I enjoyed making it. I was just really stressed out at the beginning of this thing. I have like so many things going on. And then I painted this little guy, and it was just really peaceful and relaxing, and it's done with all Mayron products, not too many of them, so it's kind of a more accessible, easier to do look. And anytime you can always replace a certain body paint color with mixing some eyeshadow and with white cream makeup. That works, especially for something as goopy and drippy as this. If you guys liked it, I would really appreciate it if you thought about hitting that thumbs up button or sharing it with a friend, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I love you guys. And also, huge shout out to my wonderful Patreon producers. Watcha! Without you guys, I couldn't create awesome looks like this, so thank you for funding this, and thank you, Dantastic, for purchasing this Mayron palette for me. It means a lot. Thank you guys. I love you, and I'll see you in the next video.